Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going into territory most leadership conversations avoid entirely. Not strategy, not systems, not talent, not human capital. The thing underneath it all, the way you think. As always, I'm John Cormanick, CEO and head coach at John R. Cormanick Coaching. Welcome. The reason you've stalled and your law firm is stalled. When founders stall and their law firms plateau, the default diagnosis is always external. Well, the market shifted, or the team underperformed, or the strategy wasn't quite right. Those are all do answers. But stalling is almost never a doing problem. It's a being problem. It lives in your cognitive architecture. And that's what we're going to examine today. What is cognitive architecture? Think of it as your operating system. It has been built over decades. From the time you were a child, in grade school, elementary or middle school, high school, college, law school, your early practice, the grind of building your firm. It's what got you here. Here's the problem, though. The operating system, the OS that has built a seven-figure firm is not the OS that scales a $10 million firm. Parts of it are still there, parts of it are necessary, but the overall OS is missing something. And most founders never install the update. It doesn't install overnight when your phone is plugged in or you're sleeping. Most founders never do the work of installing the update. So let's talk about this on a little bit deeper level. There are three patterns that every founder and every managing partner has. They have cognitive bias, they have loss aversion, and they have status quo anchoring. Now, these aren't character flaws. They're not bugs. They're features of a high-performing legal mind. Your legal mind. The same wiring that made you an exceptional lawyer is now working against you as a CEO. You feel it. You know it. It's cognitive bias. It's loss aversion. It's status quo anchoring. Every founder I work with carries all three to one degree or another. The question isn't whether you have them or not. It's which one is most expensive right now. Let's talk about cognitive bias. You believe that you see your law firm clearly, whether it's from 30,000 feet, 10,000 feet, or in the weeds doing the work. You believe that you see it clearly. You don't. You don't. And here's the thing, none of us do. None of us see our businesses, our law firms clearly. You see the version your brain has created. It's constructed. It's filtered by your history, your wins, your losses, your identity. Confirmation bias means you're no longer gathering data. You're building a case, something that you're very good at as an attorney. Attribution error means your judgment of your own performance versus your team's is fundamentally skewed. It's skewed. And availability bias means the last bad hire, the last lost client, the last quote unquote failure, the last difficult conversation, whether it be with a partner, an associate, an ancillary team member, whoever it is distorting every decision you make. today. Confirmation bias, attribution error, and availability bias. These are all cognitive biases that you walk around with. Think about it. Think about it. Daniel Kahneman, his research is unambiguous. He's a Nobel Prize winner. And his research is unambiguous when it comes to loss aversion. The pain of losing is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining, of winning. That's what the science tells us. For lawyers, this is off the charts true. It's more true than with the ordinary population because lawyering is a zero-sum game oftentimes. The law is a zero-sum game. And so if we lose, the other side wins. That's what we think. That's how we view the world oftentimes. You are trained to see risk. You are trained to see risk as bad most of the time. You are rewarded for avoiding it. You are rewarded for avoiding risk or minimizing risk. But the firm no longer needs a risk mitigator on top anymore. You have grown your firm to the point where additional risk is acceptable, but your cognitive bias and your loss aversion hasn't gotten there yet, right? Risk still feels risky. What your firm now needs is not a risk mitigator at the top. It needs a bold allocator of resources. Every time you hold on to the wrong person, you avoid raising your fees, you stay in the cases that you should not be staying in anymore, your team can handle them and ought to handle them. You delay the transition from operator, elite operator, outstanding operator in the legal field to what the firm truly needs as a CEO. You delay that. That's loss aversion running the show. It's not strategy. You can tell yourself the story that it is strategic what you're doing. If you stop, if you back up, and you think about it, it is not strategic. I recall when I was practicing law, I was talking with a business client, and they owned a vineyard. They were vintners, winery folks. And as I was going through their proposed transaction with someone else in the industry, I really focused on the loss aversion. And finally, they said to me, after about 20 minutes of this, right? They said, you know what, John? If we ran our business the way you just analyzed it, we would have never started. We would have never started our business because the risk is everywhere. And we're entrepreneurs. So we view risk differently than you do as a lawyer. And it really struck me on multiple levels. They were right. And it struck me not only as a practicing lawyer, but as the managing partner of the firm. It's like, oh, I bring this risk analysis into how I'm operating the firm, how we as a partnership group are operating the firm. And it stays with me today. This conversation was 15 years ago. Easy, 15 years ago. And it stays with me today, right? So the firm doesn't need a risk mitigator at the top anymore. That served you in the past. It served the law firm in the past when you were a solo because risk couldn't be absorbed. It no longer serves now. You have to change. You get to change to be a bold allocator of resources. And finally, status quo anchoring, right? Status quo anchoring kills evolution. Comfort kills evolution. Nothing and no one has ever evolved being comfortable. That is not a thing. It's not our biology, right? If you hear yourself saying or even thinking, this way works, that's another way of saying change feels like loss. What if we leave that behind? What if, right? What happens? Our clients expect 24/7 access to me. That's another way of saying delegating feels like risk. I have to be involved because if I'm not involved, it feels risky. Or I need to stay involved. I need to stay involved. Sorry about the typo. Is another way of saying my old identity still runs the show. I had a conversation with a client actually just yesterday about doing deep work, about what they thought when I said CEO, what they thought that meant. And it was fascinating, right? We began the conversation with, well, when you view a lawyer, what do you think of? Helper, intelligent, intellectually curious. Those are the things that when they were thinking about a lawyer and what drove them, quite honestly, to go to law school and become an elite lawyer, those were the things that they thought. They immediately came to mind. When I talked with them about what a CEO meant, their view was totally different. It was unkind. It was negative. It was loss. In order to be a CEO, I need to lose something. There was all of this negative talk around it, right? And we did the work of what if you change the story about what a CEO is? How would that help you in your evolution to what you say you want? And my client was very, very clear. I want to be a CEO. I want to practice law on elite level. I want to pick and choose the cases that I am intimately involved in, that need me, that challenge me. I want to still practice. And I also want this other thing. I want my firm to get off the plateau that it's currently on and continue to grow. And I want to be a CEO. As a matter of fact, when he was talking about this, his face totally changed. He smiled. He was in this other space. He really wants it. He's not just talking about it. He wants it. So all of this stuff, he was totally and is still status quo anchored, right? The way it works, it's what got me here. It's what got us here. Letting it go feels unsafe. All of those things, right? Here's what I want you to hear again. The story you tell about why things are the way they are is not strategy. It's comfort dressed up as reasoning. It's story. This way works means change feels like loss. The clients expect access to me personally means delegation feels like risk. I need to stay involved means the old identity still runs the show. Comfort kills evolution every time, every single time. Your strategy is solid. Strategy doesn't fail. Cognitive architecture does. Read that. Sit with that. Your strategy is probably fine. Is it optimal? No, it's not optimal. I'm here to tell you it's not optimal. How do I know this? I go back to what I heard Rick Rubin, the music producer, say. He said, Human beings are generally lazy. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's reality. And so when we get to a place that works, we stop. We stop innovating. Be mindful of that. Your strategy is probably fine. Does it need to be adjusted as you move forward? Yes, it ought to be adjusted as you move forward. Your strategy is probably fine. Your vivid vision is sound. You've done the work of creating a vivid vision, a 3-year out vision of your law firm and what it looks like and what's important to you and to the organization and the organism as the CEO. You've done that work, I hope. The plan of execution is right. Your strategy and your plan of execution is right. The reason it's not happening for you is not the plan. The reason the law firm is plateaued is not the plan. It's the thinking of the person responsible for executing it. It's the thinking of the person responsible for leading in the organization. That's the conversation we're having today because it is so important. And it's not something business coaches out there in the world talk about. It's not something group coaching organizations out there talk about. This is not something that you get anywhere else. Period. Full stop. Where cognitive architecture fails you. Let's talk about this just a little bit. Where does it fail you? Where do you feel it in the everyday? One example is the hire you keep avoiding. You know your team needs another member, an elite member. If you follow my thoughts or Amazon's or Google's or Meta's or Alphabet's, you know that you need to hire above the level of the people that you have now. In the hire you're avoiding, loss aversion tells you the risk of making the wrong call is greater than the cost of waiting. It isn't. It's not, period, right? In the price, you won't change. John, we serve those clients who can't or won't invest in, the white shoe law firms, but they can pay a little bit more than the mills or things like that. So our pricing structure is in our sweet spot. That's anchoring. That keeps you tied to what the market bore 3 years ago or 2 years ago or 1 year ago. It's not the present. The present, the market will bear more. Anchoring keeps you tied to that. Your value has moved. Being a lawyer is the only profession on the planet where you get better and your investment in yourself, what clients invest in you, your pricing doesn't keep up because you get more efficient. And if you're a hourly billable hour person, you can do things at a higher level more efficiently, so you make less money. It doesn't make any sense. Your value is greater. This costs you in real dollars, or in the delegation you won't make. Bias tells you no one does it as well as you. That is a lie. There are people who can do what you do better than how you do it, especially when you're stepping into the CEO role. That is just the truth. Bias tells you no one does it as well as you. That belief is the ceiling because it results in your 168 hours, which is what you have in a week, being the limiter. So here are 3 places it costs you. That cognitive architecture. It costs you right now in real dollars, in real talent, in real opportunity. The hire you keep not making, or the person you're refusing to let go. the price you keep not charging, the delegation you keep not doing. These aren't strategic failures. They're cognitive ones, and they compound every single quarter. You let them run. So why don't founders just fix it? We're smart people, founders of law firms. We've grown from, low six figures or high five figures or mid five figures to seven figures, right? To mid seven figures. So we're smart people. Why don't we just fix it? Law firm founders who have grown seven-figure firms are not dumb. They are not lazy. They know something needs to change. They can feel it. So why don't they just upgrade their cognitive architecture? Because awareness of the issue isn't enough. I can't be overly clear here. You have probably known for some version of what I shared today for a while, right? Oh, the past is driving me. I hear what got me here won't get me there. And I kind of believe that, but I don't know what to do about it. You have the knowledge, and knowing hasn't fixed it. That is not criticism. It's just the nature of how cognitive architecture works. It doesn't yield to knowledge alone. It yields to evidence, to environment, and to the intentional disruption of your default operating mode. That's the work. It's not more strategy. It's not revisiting your vivid vision. It's not any of that stuff. It is the internal work. It's intentional disruption of your default operating mode. That's what people who work with me experience every single time. I am a disruptor of default operating mode because I ask, why? Why? Here are 3 questions that are the work. I want you to take them seriously, not as rhetorical devices, but as actual diagnostics. Where is your cognitive architecture making the decision before you do? Which of the 3 patterns, bias, loss aversion, or anchoring, is the most expensive to your law firm today, right now? What would you do differently this week if you operated as the upgraded version of yourself, as the person you need to become to create that vivid vision in the world, that 3 years from now, or your personal vision of 10 years from now? If you're serious about becoming the person you need to be to fulfill your ultimate potential, if you are ready to do something about the answers to these very questions, let's talk. Go to my website, johnrcormick.com, and schedule a private one-on-one conversation with me. The website link is in the comments. I want to thank you for being here today. I will see you next month. Take care. Be well.